Hello everyone! In this video I will create 3 easy and fun sketchbook ideas in a mini sketchbook, and when I say that fun ideas, they were quite fun to create. I had a great time and I will do this again for sure. If you want to try out these ideas, feel free to do so. And that being said, let's dive in creating these sketchbook ideas. For this I used the Art Club art cards, which is from the creator of the 365 Days of Art prompt book. The sketchbook which I am using for this video, it's a mini mixed media sketchbook. But if you are trying out these ideas, feel free to use any mediums you have or you are comfortable with. Put your twist on them, make your own ideas. So the first idea was to fill a page with splodges of color. Use any material you like, perhaps watercolors or acrylic paint. If you prefer dry materials, you can use felt pens or colored pencils. Once dry, turn the splodges into imaginary animals by adding features, limbs and tails. I decided to create 2 animals with this technique. I used watercolor and I used the wet on wet technique first to add texture to the page. I also tried to control a little bit the splodges because I already knew what kind of animals I want to create. But I wasn't too stressed about the shapes, they didn't need to be perfect. I tried to leave the watercolors to do their thing. After the splodges dried, I took out the black fine liner and I started to add the details, different textures, patterns to the animals. And if you didn't guess already, I am creating a fox and a bear. I filled in some parts on the animals with black, but in the meantime I was leaving the texture of the watercolor to peek through the ink, and I also drew some stars in the background with the fine liner. But after I was done with these steps, I felt that the spread is not finished, so I took out some colored pencils and I added some colored glow to the animals. The second idea was to start by drawing a simple object or shape of your choice. Create a pattern by repeating it, keeping an even space between your drawings. Add in extra elements and details to embellish your pattern. This was a fast one because I only created the line art for the pattern and I painted the illustration with watercolors. For the simple element, I went with a tulip and I drew and I repeated this element in a folk art illustration style. Between the flowers, I added some simple small circles. And I also drew a decoration on the top of the page to fill in the empty space. As a color palette I went with red and blue shades, and I also used a little bit of metallic watercolors. to add a little bit of shine to the page. This idea is simple and relaxing to create, and the possibilities for this one is endless. The third and the final idea for this video is one of my favorites. The idea is to create a river using a sweep of color. You can use paint, colored pencils or collage. After that, add a scene to your river. Perhaps there are people or animals along the bank. Is the river in a jungle, the countryside or a city? When I read this idea to create the river as a collage, I was really excited because I wanted to do this for a long time, and all the time I was postponing the idea to integrate some collage in my illustrations. So I was quite excited for this one. I also wanted to create my own paper which I will use for the collage part. So I took a piece of printer paper and I started to paint the texture of the water. I added a lot of different shades of blue, and I also added here and there some emerald green. And when I was happy with the colors, I used a hairdryer to dry faster the paper. After I had the paper for the collage, I drew with a fine liner the shape of the river. And I started collaging by ripping the paper in small pieces and gluing the small pieces in the sketchbook and layering them, adding texture to the river. After I was happy with the collage part, I decided that I will create some simple tree silhouettes with black fine liner. I also drew with the black fine liner some silhouettes of birds. And on the ground I added some texture by drawing small lines. Off camera I decided to also add a little bit of shading with colored pencils. And I am very happy with the final result. Let me know in the comment section which is your favorite from these ideas. And if you will try any of these ideas in your sketchbook, which would be? And if you post any ideas on your social media, feel free to tag me because I am curious to see your final results. I hope you enjoyed this video as I enjoyed creating it. Thank you for watching and I will see you in my next video.